I said I wasn't gonna do movie licensed games anymore, didn't I? I mean, the Tom and Jerry game was so bad that it just about broke me. But this was a request, and I think it's a good one, because despite the fact that I have never played the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game before, it is exactly the kind of game I would have bought as a kid. It's based on a kid's movie that I enjoyed, and it's on Game Boy. Had I known it existed, I probably would have gotten it. You know, given the track record that movie games have, I don't really have high hopes for this. But the person who requested it did say that it was one of their favorite Game Boy Advance games. We'll see. The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory game was released in 2005, and it's one of those released on every console, including PC kind of games. I'm kind of glad I got the Game Boy version, because it looks like all the other versions sucked. Handheld for life, bitches. The game was obviously based on the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, and maybe it's just me, but when I first saw the trailer for the movie, I thought it was some kind of horror reimagining of the story. I know it sounds stupid, but considering that kid drowning in chocolate and those melting puppets, it honestly did look scary to me as a kid. But I digress. Let's start up the game and see who made it. Yeah, okay. Oh no. It's the same developer that made Spy Kids 3. And yes, Digital Eclipse did a lot of good work preserving classic games, but that's what they should have stuck with. You know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh. Let's just play the game. Hey, it's got a save feature. Well, it's already better than half the Game Boy games I own. Maybe this won't be so bad. Starting up, we can see it's a platformer, and really, what else were you expecting? The game begins with Charlie Bucket trying to catch a $10 bill so that he can buy a chocolate bar. Well, actually, it begins with a cutscene, but I'll talk about those later. The first level is a tutorial. It's got the basic control scheme you all know. A jumps, D-pad moves. There's some other stuff like crawling and sneaking by using the R button.
You don't have to sneak, dude.
I wasn't sneaking, that was my cool walk.
But the controls are mostly simple and easy to use. So the story here is the same as the movie, pretty much. I mean, it follows it better than fucking Spy Kids did. Of course, it's hard to deviate from the plot when all the cutscenes are still shots from the movie with the dialogue displayed under them. I think I'm okay with this. I mean, most Game Boy games barely attempt a story, and at least they tried. Besides, the cutscenes aren't the only place the story comes from. Throughout the levels, you'll run into different characters from the movie just standing around. Sometimes it makes no sense, like, how did Wonka get ahead of me if I just saw him at the beginning of the level? But at least the dialogue kept his personality from the movie. When you get to the chocolate factory, the game really begins. And apparently it's far more dangerous than it was in the movie because now there are deadly candy plants and candy bees all around. Makes sense. Throughout the game, you'll also be trying to get these collectible candies. They're square candies that look round. I don't even think those were in the movie, so that's a nice touch. I think if you get all of them, it unlocks something. You also collect everlasting gobstoppers, but they're actually useful because they give you an extra life. Speaking of, your health is represented by pieces of chocolate. If you die, you go back to the beginning of the section you're in, but you still get to keep the candies you collected, so that's cool. In some levels, you also collect letters to spell Wonka. If you get all of them, you unlock a minigame. They're just simple games where you try to get a high score until you run out of lives. Oh wait, there's the other thing that got unlocked. The Oompa Loompa album. Wonder what that is. No. No. There's no way. No. They're just stills from the movie with Oompa Loompas in them. Where do I fucking begin? Okay, first of all, these albums are one fucking photo. An album is a collection of pictures, not just one. Second, the Oompa Loompas in the movie were all played by one guy, so we basically have a collection of photos of a guy in different outfits, which is stupid. And third, what the fuck kind of unlockable content is this? It's just fucking pictures of a short guy. What kid playing this game would care? It's not like unlockables from other games that show concept art or whatever, it's just pictures of a guy. What the fuck ever, I'm losing focus of the actual game. Let's just pretend Oompa Loompa Instagram never happened. As the game progresses, it becomes less of a standard platformer and gets more puzzle-oriented. Soon you can get Oompa Loompas to follow you and do various things like open doors and fix switches. While that's kind of interesting, I just found it annoying mostly. I mean, why can't they jump or even fall down off ledges? You have to fling them everywhere with these seesaw things. It just gets even worse as the levels stop being linear. Eventually they devolve into, this thing that spits out a power-up you need to continue is broken. Go collect pieces of it and fix it, then you can go on. They reuse that setup like 3 times. That's pretty friggin' weak, but at least it's more fun than Spy Kids 3. You know, this game isn't bad. I mean, it's not really good, but it's okay. That's more than I can say for any of the other movie license games I've played. I think that's all, so let me just quit the game. Okay, I guess if you try to leave the game, you lose. Well, that's random. Whatever, I'm done here. Well, not that it means much, but this game is better than I expected it to be. The controls are responsive, some of the level design is creative, and parts of it can be fun. If I'd played it as a kid, I'm certain I would have loved it. But I still won't call this a good game. Parts of it are boring, it's really short, and it just seems pointless. I can't really recommend it, but I will acknowledge that it's not as bad as it could have been. So that's all I've got, and shout out to Vonnie Eric for suggesting I review this game. Sorry to trash on one of your favorites, dude, but hey, at least you showed me that not all movie games are total shit. Anyway, suggest a game for me to review, or send me one if you like. Whatever it ends up being about, the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.